Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto Willis, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. Welcome aboard, Michael Radnen. Welcome aboard, Brige MCP. Persistent sore, Michael. I just want you to get better. Persistent sore throat and cough. Antibiotics didn't remedy. After a bunch of digging around, found an ear, nose, throat specialist that takes my insurance in my neighborhood. Scheduled appointment for this Tuesday. Thank you. Still kind of annoyed that I couldn't go to any doctor in network. Crap is ridiculous. Idea brought about by our for-profit healthcare system. And for those of you who have made this suggestion, these are not symptoms serious enough for an emergency room. I got you, brother. I got you. What the hell is Trump doing rejecting California? I hear you. Bruce voted today. Bruce, I'm so happy that you voted today. I voted was it yesterday? What's today? Thursday. I voted on Tuesday. And I tell you what, it was a pleasurable experience. Everybody was friendly. So I am happy. I am seeing that people are, in fact, voting. And I think we are in for some very, very solid, good news right up and down the ballot. I am speaking it. I am saying it. I know a lot of people talk. My daughter, when I talk to her, she says, please don't jinx it, Dad. Please don't jinx it. I'm like, listen, my dear, beautiful daughter, it's not about jinxing anything. It's about knowing that this election is not through yet and that we, however, can go out there and make the difference. We can go out there and say, this is what's happening and this is what we are going to do. It is in our hands. Don't let anybody tell you to feel scared. Go out there, do the job, and call other people up and say, I need you to go out and vote. It is existential. If you don't want to use that word existential, sometimes that word becomes cliche. It is what we need to do to get a better life for us all. It is what we have to do. It is what we must do. So, folks, let's get busy and do what is right. I'm a bit perturbed. About 7 minutes, I think it was, about 7 minutes before the show started, my internet went down. And I'm thinking, you know those thoughts. I'm in a very red area. Those thoughts that go through my head. I wonder if somebody's trying to mess with our show, your show. Remember, this is your show. I'm wondering what's going on here. Why is it that I can't see the DNS is down and all of this is done? Well, finally, I went ahead and requeued everything, redid the router, and we came up fine. So yes, we are back on air. We're back on internet air. Of course, on Tuesday, we'll be back on both internet air and air, meaning KPFT 90.1 FM. For those of you who are KPFT 90.1 subscribers, please remember to renew your subscriptions and put it in honor of Politics Done Right at kpft.org. Because kpft.org, just like Politics Done Right, the independent version of Politics Done Right needs your support. The public radio KPFT 90.1 FM Houston needs support. We have got to do it. We have got to do it. Soon to come, Mount Musk Starlink Internet. Tell me more about that, Bruce. Is that a fast one? What kind of thing is it going to be? Anyhow, you be a CS person. Yes, I am. I do all of my own. I know Lee Grant. You know what, Lee? I'm going to have to admit it. I am going to have to admit that to you, brother. Lee Grant, you are right. In this one, I am being paranoid about my internet. You are absolutely right. So, I can take a hit when you're right. So I'm being paranoid about the internet. I know. Forgive me. I suppose you could be jammed by the Russians. The Russian stuff is true. Let's read up on that Trump's FBI is investigating the Russians and their interaction with Rudy Giuliani. Check it out. This is not hyper or anything like that. So please check it out. But I am being paranoid with the internet. You're right about that. You're absolutamente correcto con eso, mi hermano. Okay, let's continue. What is the show gonna be about today? What is the show about today? And you know what? There's a piece that I need to update. I'll update it after I play the video, or maybe I should update it before I put it on the screen. Actually, I better update it before I put it on the screen Because you know what? People are going to get on my case and they're going to say, Berto, why didn't you update that before you get on the screen? If you don't do that, you're not being responsible and you'll make people think something is there that isn't there. So therefore, I am going to do what I must do and update it just before I get it onto the screen. And that takes me exactly 30 seconds. Russians wouldn't stop you. Russians want more progressives in power because we are pro-peace. Rodney, you try to convince anybody who really believes in Trump that what you just said is true. I'm with you, but I don't think they're going to buy it. I think, the truth of the matter is Trump is a danger. Trump may just drop a bomb on somebody and, just because he can. Just because he can. Okay, I think I updated that now. So when that comes out, I can bring it onto the screen now. So let's go ahead and talk about what the show is going to be about today. The show today is, did I get that on screen? Punto y final, lo conseguí. Trump catering as his enablers are starting to jump ship. Trump cratering as his enablers are starting to jump ship. But notice the two words in uppercase that I put after that. Vote! Exclamation. Vote. Vote and vote. Enablers are jumping ship. So the four videos that we're doing today to start is the Democrat Dianne Feinstein said the wrong thing at Scottus farcical hearing. Second one, Chuck Todd decimates the president on continual COVID lies. He allowed the president's own words to show that he lies as easy as he breathes. And you know that comment, he lies as easy as he breathes? I stole it. As I was writing this stuff up, somebody was on, I don't remember if it was MSNBC or CNN saying that statement. And I said, you know what? I can use that. And I stole it. It's called, I don't think it was copyrighted. Anyhow, Steve Schmidt does what only he can. His statement, watch it all go down in 2 weeks. Consequences are coming to Donald Trump, is probative. All right, folks. Today the lines are going to be open. The telephone lines are going to be open if you want to come in. So what I'm going to do right now is put that the phone number on the screen. The phone number is 346-248-7799. Again, that is 346-248-7799. And the code to get in is 254-600-9091. And since I need to be responsible, what I will do is I am going to put that blurb. And by the way, you don't only have to use the phone. Because it's a Zoom telephone number, you can also come in with your computer. So I just placed on the screen both the link that can bring you in on your computer as well as the telephone number. Telephone number 346-248-7799. ID 254-600-9091. And again, you can go to the link that I've just included there if you want to come in through the link as well. If you don't see me look to that side, remember to tell me, Egberto, you got to look to that side to remember that there's somebody calling in, because I have all these screens here with different things on it that I've got to monitor. Okay, so let's go ahead and go with the first video. It's a very short one, and then I'll explain why I made this the first video. Let's go ahead and do it.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to thank you. This has been one of the best set of hearings that I've participated in. This has been one of the best set of hearings that I've participated in. And I want to thank you for your fairness. I want to thank you for your fairness and the opportunity of going back and forth. It leaves one with a lot of hopes. Thank you so much for your leadership.
To Senator Feinstein, you're a joy to work with.
Let me tell you why I hated that. You guys know I'm a very civil person. I believe in forgiveness. Not only that, I believe in having people with different opinions engage in conversations, whether they agree or not. And by the way, Brige MCP, a paper tiger is a tiger on paper, right? He's a tiger on paper. When, if you read everything about Donald Trump, he's this strong man and all of that. But go ahead and challenge him. And it's easy to tear him into shreds, that is. So that's what he is, just a paper tiger. So anyhow, Dianne Feinstein has been in the Senate likely too long. There were days that you had that type of civility. And yeah, Bruce says it, a hug without a mask. Right. I didn't think about, you know what? That's a very good point. And we know that he said specifically he's not going to do a test. He did a test, but he has been hanging with Mike Lee, and you would think he would have done a test to kind of make sure that things are okay. But anyhow, I believe in civility. I believe in that we can have different opinions and still be friends and still be civil with each other, still love each other and still drink coffee together, all that good stuff. I believe that. But what we are looking at is Lindsey Graham, who is the part architect along with McConnell, with Senator McConnell. These are the architects of taking away Supreme Court justices that will rule for over 30 years. And if we don't, assuming that the courts doesn't get expanded, every progressive law will be challenged. There's a good thing that White House did. White House showed exactly how the system works. And let me explain to you guys before I move to the other one. The Supreme Court is sort of something that just stands there to be used. That's all it does. It sits down and it waits for somebody to bring cases. And when cases get to the Supreme Court and they are resolved, they create something called precedents. All right, so if they want, the Supreme Court on its own cannot rule, right? It cannot go ahead and say, let's say they pass Obamacare and the Supreme Court, deep within themselves, we don't like that. We think that is socialism. They can't say, well, you know what? Let's 9 of us vote and say that law is illegal. They can't do that. Somebody with standing, which means somebody affected by that law, somebody with standing, has to bring that law to the Supreme Court. Now, when they bring that to the Supreme Court, now the Supreme Court can rule on what they brought forth. So if somebody comes and they challenge Obamacare, or they challenge gay rights or whatever, they bring it as a case to the court goes ahead and makes a ruling, and that ruling therefore set precedent whether a law is constitutional or not, which means whether that law fits within the confines of all that is defined within the Constitution. Good. So therefore, but again, these are 9, and everybody always talk about the power, the separation of powers, right? In a polarized community that we have today, the Supreme Court is more powerful than the presidency, and the Supreme Court is more powerful than the Congress, meaning both Congress and the Senate. Why? Because we have 9 people deciding what Congress, who represents the people, decide that they believe is constitutional or not. So let's give a little example, a real world example. The Supreme Court, after Amy Coney Barron get onto the Supreme Court, what's going to happen? It's going to have a 6-3 conservative tilt. That 6-3 conservative tilt, especially since all these guys, or as Senator Whitehouse showed, all these guys were vetted by conservative organizations who only support certain types of conservative values. So what happens? These justices will rule against the Affordable Care Act. But here's the funny thing about it. Most Americans support the Affordable Care Act. So we're going to have 9 people, the majority in that 9 people block, say this rule is, in as much as Americans want it, this rule is unconstitutional, and they have to find a reason now. And the reason they're going to use for this particular one is known as severability. What this means is if we cut a piece of this law out and call a piece of this law unconstitutional, then the entire law cannot stand on its own. Those 9 people will decide that. So you say, well, can Congress fix that? Yes, they can. In the olden days of Congress, where to make certain changes, you needed what's known as a supermajority, meaning a filibuster-proof Senate to get anything passed. It's an almost impossibility to overthrow a Supreme Court rule by simply saying, okay, I'm going to modify the law to counter the severability issue that the Supreme Court is talking about. So therefore, unless we make changes to make the Senate operate as a democracy, then we will continue to have the problem that one branch has a much bigger effect than another branch, which in this case is the Supreme Court. So what we have to do is there are many things that have to be changed in this country, but we have to do one step at a time. We have to first win the presidency. We have to then win the Senate, and we have to continue to hold on to the Congress. With those, we have some power. Not all yet, but we have some power. There are specific things that we need to do that because we are so close to an election, I won't talk about them in detail responsibly, because what would happen with, as they're doing with people that are doing this kind of work that I'm doing all over the place, is that they will take clips from a lot of progressive commentators, progressive hosts, etc., mash it up and scare people. So I'm not going to allow myself to be used as that which will scare others to, oh, we better not do that because what they're doing is going to, you hear we'll talk about Ben Sass had to say a little bit later. So that is where we're coming from. So when you see she goes ahead and becomes so nice to Lindsey Graham, somebody who is destroying, somebody who decided that they will destroy the Supreme Court and move it to the right. That is what we're talking about. That is what we're talking about. Richard Spencer endorses Biden. Good. Good. Please tell me why is that a problem? Please tell me why you think that's a problem. I'm trying to figure out why you think that is a problem. A lot of these guys do things like this because they want to help Donald Trump. Think about that. I just want you to ponder that for a bit. Anyhow, second video is Chuck Todd taking good care of Donald Trump. I want you to see this. And for all of those of you who are supporting Donald Trump, if you don't see Donald Trump as a clear and present danger, as somebody who's getting your relatives killed, as somebody who has already caused the deaths of your relatives, I ask you so kindly to open your eyes widely, because this is very important. Check this out.
With 18 days until the election, President Trump continues to try to sow doubts about the most basic of safety precautions, namely wearing a mask.
But as far as the mask is concerned, I'm good with masks. I'm okay with masks. I tell people wear masks. But just the other day, they came out with a statement that 85% of the people that wear masks catch it.
Well,
so,
they
this
didn't
is
say
a
that.
very
I know
tricky.
that study.
That's what I heard, and that's what I saw.
That is not an accurate interpretation of the CDC's data. Countless public health officials and the CDC itself have repeatedly urged, begged, and pleaded with the public to simply wear a mask to help limit the spread of the virus. That is all anybody is asking the President of the United States to do. We're going to dive into the President's town hall last night in a moment, but as I said last night, the President once again insisted corner. We may be turning a corner, but we may be running into a dead end. Folks, downplaying the virus has been Mr. Trump's mantra, seemingly every step of the way. And as the U.S. has now surpassed 8 million confirmed cases, let's take a trip down memory lane.
It's a very contagious virus. It's incredible, but it's something that we have tremendous control of. It's going to be gone. It's going to be eradicated. This is going to go away without a vaccine. The numbers are very minuscule compared to what it was. It's dying out. So we have tests. Other countries don't do tests like we do. So we show cases. Other countries don't show cases. A pandemic, which is disappearing. It's going to disappear. The China plague will fade.
Once you get to a certain number, we use the word herd, right? Once you get to a certain number, it's going to go away.
I've been doing very well with the China virus. It's going to disappear. It is disappearing.
Our deaths per capita is among the highest among
Mortality, on the excess mortality. And what we've done has been amazing. And we have done an amazing job. And it's rounding the corner.
And he did it again. As you can see there, we've been rounding this corner for quite some time.
We've been rounding the corner for quite some time. Brigitte, I didn't know that Chuck Todd had something to do with him being on the other side, on being on NBC. But I tell you what, though, I am very happy that he got the platform, because what he did is he showed who he is. He showed exactly who he is. And I don't think most Americans who saw that are particularly interested in what they saw there, in having what they saw there continue to govern. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I actually was happy that he was on, because I think he's such a poor representation of all that we need right now. I think that has become very evident. But what can I say? I think seeing him on NBC, I watched them both, right? I made sure to watch both. I watched Biden first, and I taped Donald Trump. And the reason I did that is I wanted to make sure to be the one giving the coverage to Biden. And as you can know, Biden won the ratings. Actually, let me look it up. Who won TV ratings? What is it? The town hall ratings. Let's see. I heard somebody say on TV that it was Biden who won. Biden beats Trump. Okay, here we go. So for all the people who think that he is the actual movie star, here we go. The duel in town halls on competing networks crowned a winner, at least ratings-wise. Preliminary Nielsen ratings estimate declare Joe Biden the victor over Donald Trump. The ratings service said 13.9 million viewers tuned into the former VP and Democratic candidates' town hall on ABC Thursday, while only 10.4 million watched Savannah Guthrie referee voters' conversation with President Trump. So, wow. That looks to me like even a better rating than he's going to get when the poll numbers come in. And Astros beat... I think, Astros beat them both. What I think, Bruce, is that America has already made up their minds. And I think a lot of Republicans also have made up their minds. And let me give an example. Everybody talks about, let's see how to say this. Everybody talks about, Republicans either staying home or not voting. Well, you know what? Republicans are starting to jump ship. And you know why they're starting to jump ship? Because it's not that they don't want to go down with the ship. It's because of their future. Let's listen to Brother Ben Sass. And Ben Sass really gets me quite upset quite frequently, because he's a true conservative, but he's a good guy. I know a lot of people like to down on him because of the positions he takes. I don't down him. He's a conservative. What other positions would you expect him to take? But when he gets into being a Trumpist, that's what gets to me. Check this out.
Republican senator from Nebraska, discussion to follow.
The way he kisses dictators' butts. The United States now regularly sells out our allies under his leadership. The way he treats women and spends like a drunken sailor. The ways I criticize President Obama for that kind of spending, I criticize President Trump for as well. He mocks evangelicals behind closed doors. His family has treated the presidency like a business opportunity. He's flirted with white supremacists. At the beginning of the COVID crisis, he refused to treat it seriously. I'm now looking at the possibility of a Republican bloodbath in the Senate.
I am looking at a Republican bloodbath in the Senate. Now, folks, first of all, I don't want you to just go ahead and say, oh, bloodbath coming. That means it's going to be all good. No, 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 no. This only happens if you do what? You go out there and vote. This landslide doesn't require us sitting behind a computer or a TV and watching how great the polls are. This requires the polls to be realized, and the realized polls are your vote. So please remember, yes, it is true that most Americans want this evil being that has killed over 210,000 people gone. They want him history. They want him to be the bad history in this country. They want him gone. Now you have to make the effort. Let me tell you something. A rabid dog is sick. A rabid dog is sick. It's dying. It has the virus on the inside. It's dying. But before death, it's where it's at its most dangerous. It's fighting back. And all the parts of that dog is fighting back. Think about Donald Trump. Think about those people who are still blinded by Donald Trump. They smell their own blood. They want to come out there and they want to show you that I am not going to believe that Donald Trump is on his last. I am not going to believe that. I'm going to show you. So they are coming out en masse. The evil leadership of the evangelical churches are coming out en masse. The white supremacists are coming out en masse. All of these people will be there for sure. Those of us who sit back and know that the vast majority of Americans want this evil being gone, they can't sit back and say, well, you know, since it's going to be a landslide, my one vote doesn't count. Your one vote is the composite of what creates the landslide. So vote early if you can. Vote in person if you can. If you go to the grocery store, you can vote in person. If you go anywhere, you can vote in person. And for all the states that have early voting, start voting now. We don't know what the weather is going to be on November 3rd. So they always say, oh, well, the Republicans vote on the day of the election. That's true. But guess what? You may not know what the weather is there either. And you know what else? I do want Republicans to vote. I want everybody to create that stamp to see where they are. Let's get a true pulse of where America is. Let's get that pulse. Let's get that pulse of where America is. Because when we see the polls come back and we see by popular vote a 60-40 break, 60% for the good guys and 40% for the evil being. When we see that, it gives us a framing of how to move forward. It gives us a framing on how to talk to our neighbors, our brothers and sisters that somehow allowed themselves to be snowed by the evil being. But anyway, we're a little bit more than halfway, and it's time for me to go ahead and say, folks, please consider becoming subscribers of Politics Done Right. How do you do that? You become a subscriber to Politics Done Right by in several manners. If you are on YouTube right now, I ask you so kindly to go ahead and just click that join button and know that you are making a difference by supporting what we do. What we do is really important work because we are populating the internet space. We are making sure that the internet space is not dominated by the people who can afford, the right wing that pays a lot. A lot of those stories you see from the right, they're not stories from the right for real. There are think tanks that make up these stories and they pay other people to put it out there. I'm asking you, we do it. What we do is we put the truth out. We put the truth out, but it has to be us all. So I ask you so kindly, If you are on YouTube right now, please click the join button. Become a part of the family. If you become it right now and I see it pop up in the screen, I'll give you a shout out right away and say, hey, thank you so kindly. So please consider clicking that join button. If you are not on YouTube, but you're either on Periscope or Twitch or Facebook, here is the link. And I'm putting the link in there for you to become a member on YouTube. That is the link that I just placed into the feed. You can also support us by becoming what we call a Patreon. A Patreon is somebody who says, you know what, you're doing important work and we want to be part of the game. Thank you so kindly, Carol Williams. I do appreciate the kudos. politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. I just put that on the screen. politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. And if you want to become a supporter as well on Facebook, you can just click on subscribe on Facebook or go to politicsdoneright.com/Facebook. There are a lot of ways to support us. We need to have all of this done. Why? That is how we populate the internet with our message, with the progressive message. Because right now there is an overbearance of this message coming not from the average American citizen, but from think tanks and all these guys who are there to manipulate your minds. A friend of mine, my wife just came and said, I think my friend is a QAnon. And then she showed me some of her statements on Facebook. And I said, yeah, she is. She was captured by QAnon. And I found so many people, and I said, well, the only way we're going to solve this is to go ahead and show these people the other side. First of all, we can't allow them to use some of the material on the left that's bad, because, there's bad everywhere. But we have to do the work. And that's what we're doing. We're doing the work. So again, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and click join on YouTube, please, and become a supporter. And the other links that I gave in there. Now, the other big thing, please, por favor. I wrote this book, very important book, and we're approaching a milestone. I think I need about 40 more books sold to get to my milestone. Please get It's Worth It. How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors. And there are two ways to get the book, of course. You can go ahead and get the book on Amazon, and here is the link to get the book on Amazon. I just placed it on the screen right there. Please consider getting the book at Amazon. I promise you're going to love it. The people who reviewed it at Amazon, take a look at those reviews at Amazon. I was like, wow, makes you feel good. Of course, they're going to be the Trumpists that are going to give you a 1 or a 2, or actually the Trumpists give you a 1, and I think I have a couple 1s and a couple 2s, but all the others are very good reviews. One guy said, Egberto, if you had just done this, I would have given you a 5, but you got a 4. Like, look, you know what? My thing is just getting the message out there. So please go ahead and get that book. Alternatively, if you don't want to get it at Amazon, let's say you want to get a autographed copy, you can go to our store, politicsdoneright.com/store, and you can buy it at the store. And here's the book. It's Worth It. How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors. And of course, you can get my first book, As I See It, Class Warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom. And lastly, you can get, I've had my weight problems, so you can go ahead and get Lose Weight and Be Fit Now. I have 3 more books that are I've started 3 other books that I'm writing right now, but so much stuff is happening, it's not easy to get it all done and out. But I hope to have at least 5 books done by next year. Knock on wood. Anyhow, again, if you're on YouTube, join. Let's continue. Steve Schmidt. I've never loved a Republican like I've loved Steve Schmidt. What am I talking about? Steve Schmidt is so... a lot of people get mad at me sometimes at Daily Kos or other places where they say Q. I hear that Q is anti. Hey, Lee Grant, you're mimicking what Donald Trump had to say. Lee Grant, it's so funny that he lied about not knowing what QAnon is all about. It's a joke. Anyhow. I look. Steve Schmidt is a Republican. Steve Schmidt is a good guy. In normal times, I enjoy, to put it nicely, beating up on Steve Schmidt because Steve Schmidt has always been. He's like a Mack truck. He continues to look forward. He continues to just do the Steve Schmidt thing. I want you to see his characterization of the town hall and Trump in general, and then we'll take it on the other side. I watched both the town halls, and I thought Biden did exceptionally well. I think he was very empathetic in the way he answered the questions. But my God, after watching Donald Trump, I was lost for words. But you know who came to the rescue? Do you know who came to the rescue? Let's have Steve Schmidt.
I wanted to get your take on not only just how that's going to land in the campaign, but what that means for this presidency at this point, that he is pushing these conspiracy theories about COVID, about Democrats, about Russia, about all this stuff so hard, even down to the bitter end.
Well, he made an extraordinary statement at the end, Rachel, when he said, well, I've done a great job. I mean, this is the biggest failure in the history of the American presidency. This is somebody who lied to the country and as a consequence has shattered the American economy. There are more unemployed people on this date than there ever have been on any other comparable day in October in American history. We have the education system of our kids profoundly disrupted. We have the rituals of American life that have ended because of COVID. And now we see this president reaching for conspiracies. And no matter what happens, he will never concede to the legitimacy of this election. And tragically, about 30% of the country will never buy into the fact that Joe Biden won the election legitimately. And so his peddling in conspiracy theories is part of the reason why if we had the mortality rates of Germany, we'd have 150,000 more Americans alive today. But because of Donald Trump and the lying and the nonsense that comes out of his mouth, we have one of the great disasters in the history of the country. This QAnon cult is a danger to American society. There's a couple hundred QAnon candidates running because of Trump. We'll probably see 18,000 of them running in the next election cycle. But we have some big issues to deal with all of this insanity that Donald Trump has let loose in the country. But I will say this, what you see there, and David's exactly right, he's shrinking before our eyes. The emperor has no clothes, so to speak. He looks small, he was sweaty, he's out of control, he's unhinged. And the reason for that is he's losing. This is going down. Hangover, as you know, Rachel, from 2016, because Donald Trump shocked the world. And by 78,000 votes in 3 states, he won. But the only similarities between this election and that election, my colleague Stuart Stevens points out, is the 2 and the 0 in front of them. It's a very different race. And Donald Trump's strength and resiliency is being vastly overstated in the media. And the durability, the vastness of Biden's coalition is being serially underreported. And the fact of the matter is the Biden campaign is flush with cash. The Trump campaign is out of money, out of gas. The candidate is unhinged. And this is going down. You see new polling that has Biden up 6 points in Georgia from Quinnipiac. That's just out. You look at the condition of the Senate races. You know, Lindsey Graham in 2016, when he was a very different person, said, if we pick Donald Trump, we will be destroyed. And Donald Trump has brought destruction to the Republican Party. He has brought destruction to the country. And we're going to watch it all go down in 2 weeks. Consequences are coming for Donald Trump.
Consequences are coming for Donald Trump. I could not have said it any better than Steve Schmidt. But I think it's important for us to understand this, right? First of all, I think I may disagree with Steve a little bit. Yes, he looks sweaty and all of that. And I think mostly, I think he's still sick. I think there's something really wrong with Donald Trump physically, and now even more so mentally. And it comes out in that he cannot answer any questions coherently. He cannot say anything straight or, I mean, it's a great economy. That's the only things he knows how to say. Doesn't matter what the evidence is showing. He just goes out there and he's like a tape recorder repeating the phrases. So I am actually starting to feel not only ashamed of our president, but I'm starting to feel sorry for our president. Well, I hear you, Bridge MCP. Bridge MCP says, Egberto, don't feel sorry for him because his followers do just that and feel bad and vote for him. I think we're at the point now where a lot of people are seeing that, look, if Donald Trump were to miraculously get reelected, I don't know, the chaos that we would be in. I tell you what I think would happen. I think if Donald Trump got reelected for some magical reason, he would be rather quickly impeached. And this time the impeachment would be successful. Because, first of all, if Donald Trump gets reelected, it probably means that we did not win back the Senate. So the Senate would still be in control of the Senate, and the House would still be in control of the Democrats. So the Senate would be in control of the Republicans, the House of the Democrats. And the Democrats will re-impeach again. And what I think they'll do at that point is they will, in fact, impeach the president. They will, when you see Sass saying the things that he's saying, Ben Sass and others, they'll impeach him then. Because the guy is that corrupt. But I don't know if that's even a good thing. Because after that occurs, you know, Mike Pence become president and then they pick a vice president. And what they would be doing is they would be setting up for the next election. That is one of the reasons why we say we have to make sure that the polls are in fact realized. The polls are correct. The polls are true. But they are not realized, right? And that is what we have to learn deep inside. We don't, you know, I mean, a lot of people question the polls. Oh, the polls weren't right. And then when they say the polls weren't right, they start to get dejected because after all, the polls don't mean anything. That's not true. The poll is an instant in time of how people feel. The part that the polls can't get is whether that person that hates Donald Trump and is going and says they're going to vote for Biden, whether they actually do. That is the gradient, or that is the part of the poll that is one is unable to ascertain, right? And that's why they have two models. The registered voter model, which means of all registered voters, who wants Trump, who wants Biden. That's one model, right? And that model is always right, okay? Because it's always right based on people speaking truthfully, that is. And most people do. Most people are not Donald Trump. So that poll is usually more accurate. The problem is the likely model. The likely model says we are going to take a subset of all those people who are registered who says they like Joe Biden or whoever, and we're going to cut them out and see what the polls look like then. So the likely voter poll now says, this is what the outcome of the election is going to look like because likely voters are likely to vote again. And that in itself is a poll, right? Because they've done polls to see what percentage of registered voters actually, or rather, what does a likely voter look like? Does a likely voter is a person who's consistently voted in two consecutive elections. A likely voter, you have to develop your own what's called a likely voter model, and that is a part that is very difficult. And I think Steve Schmidt said something that I wonder if people notice. He said, right now the polls are undercounting Biden's strength. And that's where I tend to believe. I tend to believe that the pollsters are being cautious in their voter models. And why do I think they do that? They don't want to repeat the same mistake because there's this mystique about Trump and his cult. Because of the force of his cult. what they don't quite get, in my humble opinion, is that his cult is small. His cult is small. What's large is everybody else, meaning Republicans, Democrats, Independents, and everything. That's large. That's huge. Our goal is to make sure that that bulk goes out to the polls. If the bulk goes out to the polls, the landslide is realized. And how do we make sure that that bulk of people go out to the polls? How do you actually ensure that that happens? You ensure that that happens not only by you voting, like, Bruce came in and said, I just got back from voting. I voted on I think Thursday, and when I was done voting, you know what I did? I love to advertise that kind of a way. So I went to Instagram, and what did I do? I made good fun of myself. And in fact, let me go ahead and put the picture up of what I did for voting. Esa no es la palabra. Déjame tratar de nuevo. Let's see. Here we go. So after I voted, I went ahead and did what I knew I was supposed to do. Where is that darn... Oh, I'm in the wrong account. Folks, when you have all these different accounts, it's like, come on now. My account is ourpolitics.com. Ourpoliticsdoneright.com is no, just Our Politics Done Right. That's it. I think that's what it is. But yeah, Our Politics Done Right is my Instagram account. And this is what I did. Let's put that up on the screen. Just say, hey, I made a fool of myself. But I voted. And here we go. I voted. So there's a picture. N95 mask on in my car with a sticker on my head, my forehead, saying, I voted. And I also went ahead and put it on Facebook. Why did I put it on Facebook? And you should do that too, right? I put it on Facebook because I wanted folks to know that, yes, we are voting. And why don't you do it too? And one of the reasons I put it on with a mask, did it with a mask, is for people to, we're trying to encourage people to go out there and vote as well. So if you can see, I have that right there with my mask on. Wow, 350. I hadn't gone back. 357 likes. That's cute. Okay. Anyhow, so let's encourage others to go out there and vote. Let's encourage others to go out there and vote their... Yes, Breach. I hardly sleep. I get about 4 hours of sleep every day if I'm lucky. Last night I got 3 hours, and I think my watch said 3 hours and 58 minutes. Actually, no, I'm sorry. The night before, that's what I got. Tonight, because it was raining, I didn't get up I stayed in bed a bit longer because I didn't have to do my ride. I ride 15 miles 4 days a week, and I was supposed to ride this morning, and I didn't because it was raining. So there you go. But yes, I need more sleep. Necesito sueño. Okay. Anyhow, we're coming up to we have about 10 minutes. If anybody wants to call in, give us a call. 346-248-7799. Code is 254-600-9091. All right, let me go through the messages here. First of all, let me welcome everybody. I'm going to go from the bottom up because it's easier that way. I'm going to start from the bottom up. Bridge, let's see. Michael Rudnin says, Egberto, lack of sleep will put you in an early grave. Get some rest, man. I promise after this election, if we make it, I'm going to get a little bit more rest. Love you guys. But, hey, let me tell you something. I ask a lot, man. I ask you guys to subscribe to Politics Done Right. I ask you guys to do all these things, saying I am going to make sure and get the message out. I aim to earn what the hell I ask for. In other words, if I tell you I'm going to populate the internet with the progressive messages, that's what I'm going to do. And so... my wife would tell you, I'm a dedicated SOB. If I say I'm going to do something, I make sure to do it unless something unforeseen happens, like when my daughter got the stroke and I just had to pick up and fly out to D.C. But anyhow, that was a tough time, guys. I mean, that was really rough. You don't know what it feels. Well, I know some of you do, but, your young daughter in school and you get the call, I can only see through. Oh, wow. Now you see why I don't know. I fight for Medicare for because, my daughter had insurance Do you know how many people are out there who have no recourse? You know, do you know? Yes, a lot of you do. But sometimes I wonder how many can be empathetic enough to realize what people are going through. I mean, when I went out there to DC when she had that, I mean, that's for another day. Let's go ahead and start. Yeah, she's young. She's 28 years old when she had the stroke, and she had lost half of her vision. She's back to 90% of her vision, and she's in pre-med, or no, I'm not pre-med. She's in her third year med school. She just completed third year med school 2 months late. I am so proud of that little girl. 2 months late, she completed her third year, but she just called, and in fact, it's today. She said, "Dad, officially, I've completed my third year." I mean. Anyhow, so one more year to residency. She's doing all the residency applications and all of that right now. So have some positive affirmations for her. So thank you. Hey, thank you, Troy, for having been here. Anyhow. Let's get back to me saluting everybody. Tank 28, thank you for being here. Carol Williams, thank you so kindly for being here. Let's see. Oh my God, yes, I know cancer twice, and I'm still ill. Carol, let me tell you something. We are going to make sure you will not lose your health care. We will make sure about that, my friend. We will make sure about that. That's what the fight is all about. That is what the fight is all about. Okay, let's see. So Carol Williams, welcome aboard. Troy Astra, welcome aboard. Jacoby G, welcome aboard. Bridge MCP, welcome aboard. Para ver quién más está aquí. I think I saluted you already, Tank 28, who continues to blow up my feed. Who else is here? I got to Jacoby already. Let's see who else is here. Coming up, Alex, welcome aboard. Okay, who else is here? Troy Astro, Lee Grant, welcome aboard. And I'm going down. I'm at the 100 count now. Let's see. My eyes are kind of denying me. Daniel Ledo, welcome aboard. Roy, welcome aboard. And I'm continuing down. Paul Fleming, welcome aboard. Okay, I'm coming down. I'm going up. I'm going on. Bruce Pollard, welcome aboard. I know I'm going to miss some of you because there's a whole lot of chatting that went on. So if I miss you, please just send another message. Lee Grant, welcome aboard. Another message, and I'll be sure to call you out. I like to call out everybody. Love you all because you're here. Well, I love you all, period. But I mean, you're here. Makes it even better, man. All right, let's see. I continue. Almost there. Okay. I see some new messages come in. Let's see if I need to get down there. Okay. No, I just see Jacoby fighting with Tank 28. Anyhow, folks, look, thank you guys for being here. One last quick announcement, and that is please go ahead and get the book. My book is called It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors. I'll put the link in there again. That's the Amazon link. But if you want to get the book autographed, I will autograph the book for you if you purchase it at this location, which is politicsdoneright.com/store. Love you too, Carol Williams. Mucho amor, corazón, mucho amor. Politicsdoneright.com/store. Yes, Bridge, we are family, including Tank 28. All of us are family here. We're going to convince Tank 28 to get on the right side. I promise you. We're going to do that. Say Hunter Biden, it doesn't really matter, first of all, but that we can talk that some other time. I'm not giving that much notion at all, Tank 28. It's something you guys have been trying to put into the mainstream for a long time. You finally got the mainstream media to cover it. It's going to die a quick death. Anyhow, please also, if you're on YouTube, click that join button. I need subscribers to YouTube. We're going to have great things happening in the near future where we are going to talk together, things that are restricted to our YouTube family. We'll also have stuff for Facebook family, also have stuff for Patreon family. And then all of us are a big family. All right. So, folks, please also consider supporting us at PayPal. And here is the link. Adios, Jacoby. politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. And please encourage others to join the family. That is how we grow. That is how we grow. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.